Dame Time has a new home in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Yes, Damian Lillard has been traded to the Milwaukee Bucks in a three-team trade, pairing him up with probably the best player in the NBA, Giannis Antetokounmpo. NBA is back, everybody. Drama, trades, all of that. Justin Pooni, Noor, Zainab here to break it all down for you. So, Noor, this was the deal that broke just a short time ago. So, of course, the Bucks get the main attraction in this trade in Damian Lillard. The Blazers received Drew Holiday, who was a massive integral part of the Bucks championship just a couple years ago. DeAndre Ayton from the Phoenix Suns, Tumani Kamara, the Bucks 2029 first round pick unprotected, swap picks in 2028 and 2030. So those draft picks are long, long gone. The Suns, so I did mention we're involved with DeAndre to get Yusuf Nurkic, Grayson Allen, Nasir Little, and Keon Johnson. So, Noor, a lot to unpack here. First of all, what was your immediate reaction when you heard this trade? Because I'll tell you mine after.
It was astonished. I was shocked. You know what it was? I think it's we saw this I don't know, this like source come out and say that there's a mystery Eastern Conference team that might be interested in Damian Lillard. And I think everybody was like Raptors, Masai, and ended up being the Bucks. And I gotta give it to them. I think they made the deal best suited for their team and for Giannis. Giannis really just took that time and made the threat, and they took that threat seriously, and they gave him the star that he needed. And it's crazy to me because they only really gave up Drew Holiday to get Damian Lillard over. Yes, you have to sacrifice your future, but like what future for what you have going on right now? Giannis and Damian Lillard,
Exactly.
probably the best duo in the Eastern Conference, right? And honestly, if it's me, I might even have them as favorites to win the title next year, just because of that. What they're capable of doing together. You have a big who is dominant, who understands who he is. He can take over the paint at will with his body, and then you have a guy who can just hog the perimeter. He can assist, he can dish it out, and he's capable of those big moments. And Giannis wanted that. We spoke about this too, Justin. We said that Giannis has talked about needing help because, yes, the team's constructed for Giannis, but this is no longer the league where you can only rely on one superstar. You need to have multiple. And Giannis, unfortunately, saw how dire that is after he got injured last season and wasn't able to perform to his abilities in the playoffs. And that shows you that he said, when I'm down, I need someone else on the roster who can come through and not just be help, but be the moment. It's Dame time. Like, how much more help could you need for Giannis? I personally love the duo. I hate this for the Raptors. Masai Bobby, I'm sure we'll get to it. But in terms of what they've got going on in Milwaukee, I love it. I love that duo. I love a big and I love a point guard combo. So this is gonna be magician basketball. I can't wait.
Magician like basketball. I normally we disagree. I can't disagree with you on anything about this because the Milwaukee Bucks were the championship favorites all of last year. Giannis gets hurt in the first round, and we saw just how much they need him. Chris Middleton is still recovering from a knee injury, wasn't the same player this past year. Drew Holiday, while he's a great, great defensive player, his offense comes and goes. So the biggest thing I saw a lot on when people were analyzing this trade and all that is, oh, the Bucks are really gonna miss Drew Holiday's defense. That might be the case, but you still have Brook Lopez and Giannis Antetokounmpo, two guys that were finalists in Defensive Player of the Year voting. They have guys that can cover the paint. Giannis can, pretty much guard any position they want. And here's the other thing, Noor. With Dame in the fold now, Chris Middleton doesn't have to be as reliant on, creating offense on his own. He can be a catch
Yeah.
and shoot guy. He's the third option that's going to be left alone in the corner, right? He's just have to hit spot up shots. The Milwaukee Bucks heard what Giannis Antetokounmpo had to say. Because remember, we talked about it, was it like last week or a week and a half ago, where Giannis came on and said, well, I'm a Buck for now, but I want to follow wherever the winning's going to go. Milwaukee took that. They made another big splash. Remember, they did that with Drew Holiday. They acquired him. Then what did they do? They won the title. This is what happens when you have a superstar, a generational player. You do whatever it takes to make sure they're set up to win. And both these guys have talked about playing together, but they were also so proud. You come to my Portland, you come to Milwaukee. Well, Dame finally got to that point where he realized nobody was going to come to Portland. He wanted to go to Miami. That didn't happen. He's in Milwaukee now. They're the favorite in the Eastern Conference. They're the championship favorites, in my personal opinion, right now. And I think the odds books have them as favorites right now as well. This right now is a slam dunk for all of the reasons you mentioned, but also for the fact now is you have two alphas, the guys that aren't afraid to make shots, make big plays when it matters the most. If I'm in the Eastern Conference, if I'm in the NBA, the road to the title is going to go through Milwaukee, whether you like it or not.
Absolutely. You know what's so funny, actually? Last year, May 15th, 2022, Damian Lillard was asked on Twitter, if you ever were to pick a player that would help you get into the playoffs, finals maybe, who would you pick? Only present time. And he tweeted that with Giannis. And he made this come to fruition. It's happening for him. And as you said, I think it's going to be it's going to create something amazing for Milwaukee as well. They've had it pretty good so far. You had Giannis on your roster. You drafted him. He's your king and everything, but he got you a championship as well. But I think this is going to set them straight for a couple years now, because as we also know, Dame is going to be on contract for 3 years. They also have Giannis. Giannis made it clear that he's in it to win, and he wants to see changes made that shows that the team is prioritizing that winning. And that doesn't mean that they have to obviously go out and win the championship, but I'm sure he just wants to see the fact that they're doing something for him. They catering the team to show that they care about his health as well, and the fact that they want to win long term. They did just that, and they showed Giannis that not only are we capable of signing you up next to all-stars, which is also I believe this is the first time Giannis has played next to an all NBA, or is it an all-star? No, because Chris Middleton is all-star. I believe it's all
Holiday
NBA.
and Middleton have been all NBA for
Yeah, I
sure.
believe it's all.
Holiday and Middleton.
I'm not sure. I'm gonna look this up right after I finish talking, because
Gotcha.
there's the stat on this. But exactly. But I think this is the first time Giannis has played with somebody, a kind of like not on, I guess, on his caliber, but like a superstar,
Top
and
75 player of all time.
exactly. So this is going to be amazing for him, for the team, for everybody around the league, and I mean we'll get to the other stuff of it afterwards. But in terms of them, it's a home run, and the fact that they never even gave up Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton is still on the
Yeah.
roster. He's capable of defending as well. So yes, you've lost Jrue Holiday on the defensive end when it comes to the point guards, but like Chris Middleton, they've got a team that can switch pretty easily as well. They can cover different areas, cover different positions, and to have that, as important as defense is, so is offense, and they really cover their tracks in offense completely.
Absolutely.
So other
Absolutely.
teams are gonna have a hard time kind of matching that offensive load coming from the Bucks.
Exactly. And I think you mentioned it when you look at this team, when you look at the landscape of the Eastern Conference, as good as Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are, I'm taking Dame and Giannis over them. Embiid
Yeah.
and Harden, it looks like Harden's gonna come back over them, right? Anybody else in the East, these two guys are the best two players in the East. Well, two of the top five players in the Eastern Conference, in my personal opinion. Like these guys are set up for success. And here's the thing too. Dame's here for another 4 years, right? So you're not talking about, we were talking about like with Kawhi, it was a 1 year rental, and then you take Dame and hope he stays. He's here for the long term. You assume now Giannis is going to stay long term. So the Bucks are not set up to win the title just this year, but for the
Yeah.
next 3 to 4 years, they can win. Would we be shocked if they win 2 out of the next 3 or something like that? No, right? The Milwaukee Bucks, A+. They listened to their superstar. They capitulated to him, which again, not a lot of people like. But this is the NBA. It's a players' league. When your superstar says something, you do it, and they did it in a big, big way. I had this one stat I want to
Dame, sorry, before you continue, is that one thing too?
No,
Like
go
I
ahead,
know
finish your
with
thing.
Dame as well, like he wanted to go to Miami, obviously, but he also emphasized that he wants to win. And he's gonna win in Milwaukee. So for me, even after the 3 years that you have him on contract, there's a chance that he might want to stay. There's a chance that he's like, I'm maybe, let's say somehow they haven't won 3 years from now, but getting that close to that shows him that you might be in the right spot to get there. Now it's up to Milwaukee to be like, do we want to take on 36-year-old Damian Lillard and you're going to give him a new contract? That's up to them. But I think the situation is perfect for both sides. So hats off, as you said.
Absolutely. Now, this is the stat before we transition to what I think a lot of people in Toronto want to hear. So Giannis and Lillard will become the second teammates in NBA history to play together after each averaging 30 points per game in the prior season. So that's a whole lot of buckets. That's like six. I think Giannis averaged 31, Dame averaged 32, so that's 63 points a game. Obviously, that might not stay the same, but if Chris Middleton can back up to his 17 to 18 points, that's a whole lot of buckets from the Milwaukee Bucks. And as we mentioned, Giannis and Brook Lopez on the defensive side of the ball. The Milwaukee Bucks will be a threat in the Eastern Conference. The Toronto
But
Raptors.
also, I think I know, and we'll get to that, sorry, but I think the other part of it too is
Yes.
like, it's not just Giannis and Damian Lillard. It's the fact that they will open up spacing for everyone around them. So you're going to see not only Giannis feast and Dame feast, but the fact that you're going to have so much help from the defensive end on the other team trying to stop Dame and Giannis. You have three other guys now on the roster: Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez, anyone else you want to bring on who can have a shot at that bucket, and
Absolutely.
that gives them a higher probability to get that shot in. And at the same time too, I don't know, I think that works out great for them. I had another point as well. I completely just lost it. It's 4:30 p.m. They really have to wait till like
I
3
know.
p.m. to announce this day. Like, seriously.
And the craziest
And
part
my
is
brain's like fried now.
we recorded a whole episode earlier today in the studio talking about why the Raptors should trade for Damian Lillard. And just as we're about to post it on YouTube, we get the news and had to pull it and then pivot. But we are pros. Let's talk about the Toronto Raptors, Noor. Of course, going into this week, they were the favorites, the lead dog in the race to get Dame Lillard. Once again, Masai Ujiri could not pull the trigger on a big deal. Reports are out there now after this trade got released, that the Raptors didn't want to dangle OG Anunoby, as we continue to find out that I think Masai loves OG more than he loves his own children. The fact that he can continually never, ever, ever include this guy, a guy who's never made an all-star team in a trade, a guy who's, quite frankly, extremely overvalued by the Toronto Raptors in a trade for a guy for Damian Lillard, Noor.
Okay, yes.
As you roll your eyes at me.
Yes. No, listen. Oh, I don't even know how to get into this.
No, we're gonna get into it though.
As the breakdowns come out, it's insane to me that the third team that Milwaukee took the place of couldn't be the Raptors. I just don't get that part. I don't get it. I think we have so much more to offer than Milwaukee could have. We had everything going there. And if it's true that they want to give up OG Anunoby for Damian Lillard, I think it's time to question the front office a little bit. Most people already have been. I know you and I have been, but I think in terms of now, like, just the veil has been lifted. People are like, what the hell? Because you've got OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam coming up on expiring contracts. And since 2019, 2020, your core has walked away from absolutely nothing. You've given up everybody who won you something for nothing. We saw that happen with Lowry. I mean, sure, you can say Lowry might be one of the best cases here because you still got Precious Achiuwa out of it. But let's look at Fred VanVleet. Let's look at Serge Ibaka. Let's look at Marc Gasol. They were going to leave regardless. Yes, I know. But you could have turned it into something. Instead, they went and got Jakob Poeltl for a first-round pick when he was going to be on a new contract in 2 months anyway. So then you have three guys who are now fighting for a contract. You've got Jakob Poeltl on the books, sure. You might have a little bit more cap space now because there's no Damian Lillard coming on, but you've got two guys that you need to either deal with up until their contract is up or pay for them and hope that they're happy enough to stay here. Because on the other hand of it too, I don't know how happy OG is going to be involved in trade talks every single time someone's name is mentioned. He might just say, hey, I want a bigger role somewhere else. He's mentioned that constantly. And there's a chance he might walk away if the Raptors don't deal with anything. I love OG. I would have preferred to keep OG over Scotty. Now, that's just me. If it's going to be a trade for Dame, that's just me. But I would have preferred to keep OG. But if the news coming out is telling you that they would have gone all in had Masai put up OG on that table and he didn't, you could have turned OG Anunoby into Damian Lillard and you didn't. this might be the last thing he does for the Raptors. I don't know.
Are you saying they're going to fire Masai Ujiri?
I'm not saying they're gonna fire him. I think he's on the last legs though, because I just think, look at it. The past 4 years, you have nothing to show for this team. You drafted Scotty Barnes, absolutely, but now let's also talk about Scotty Barnes. The expectation on him to turn into this amazing caliber of a player, he might still get there, because I still think it's unfair to even put the expectation on him or to rule him out of it. You can't do either, because he might still get there. But expecting that much out of a guy who's just now entering his third year, who, yes, he won Rookie of the Year in his first year, but his second year was completely distracted with all team problems. And then you're going to tell him that, hey, we've got your best interest. You don't have Scotty's best interest at all. The team looks like crap. You've got two guys playing the same position.
Well, here's the thing. This is the thing where, so the Toronto Raptors last year, what were they? A play-in team. Lost their starting point guard in Fred VanVleet for nothing, right? You mentioned they don't have a first-round pick. They traded that away for Jakob Poeltl, a guy who makes, $20 million a year, who might not be – he's not a top center in the NBA, but that's neither here, neither there. They tried to push it in, put all their chips in the middle, go for the playoffs. They failed. They could have traded Fred. They could have traded OG. They could have traded Pascal at the deadline. Did not do it. Now what do you have? You have Pascal Siakam, who's on a pending UFA. OG Anunoby, like you mentioned, a pending UFA. Gary Trent Jr. is supposed to have an extension. He's going into the season with no extension. This team right here is stuck in the middle. They're not good enough to be a playoff team. They're not bad enough to be a tanking team. They're stuck. Now, if I'm Masai Ujiri, once again, Donovan Mitchell, Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, no star, for whatever reason, you just can't pull the trigger because you hold your players with such high value. You're trying to fleece people. You're trying to, get the best. Sometimes you have to take a compromise to make the best deal. OG Anunoby is a very good player. But if you can get a guy like Damian Lillard, say, for example, it was, a first-round pick, 2 pick swaps, OG, Grady Dick, and that was a deal. That you're still a better team than you are right now. Masai Ujiri was a guy who made cutthroat deals, a guy who traded a franchise icon away to win a title. But now he has found some certain crazy amount of loyalty to guys that don't deserve it, quite frankly, right? What has OG Anunoby done for this team to be so loyal to him? Yeah, all defensive. He ain't no all-star Noor. If you can get Damian Lillard, you do whatever it takes, because right now, this team is stuck in the middle. Masai Ujiri could be cooked as a front office. Or, for example, if Bobby Webster has too much control now, take that control away from him, because this front office is getting work. This team is not good. This team is going into the season, quite frankly, in a worse position than they were last year. It is tough times ahead, because now you didn't get Damian Lillard. Giannis is going to stay in Milwaukee now, so that pipe dream of getting Giannis to Toronto isn't happening. The Toronto Raptors doing no Dame, no Giannis, no winning.
Okay, well, you just did your victory lap. I hope you're happy. Probably going to sleep pretty good tonight. 9 p.m., lights out. Best sleep you've probably ever gotten in your life. Whatever. Anyway, I do wonder though if what's the pivot here, if they're gonna pivot, because Drew Holiday's up for grabs now. I wonder if that's the route that they might take. And I might not be too opposed to it, because we do need that. You need some point guard. You need some shooting. You need defense as well. Drew Holiday's defense on the point guard position would be fantastic to have. And he could be a starter point guard if you want Dennis Schroeder to come off the bench as well. So there's still things that you can do to recuperate. I think the thing that, because I would have been okay had Dame not come here, depending on what they were asking. Had the asking been too high, I would have been like, Masai, Bobby did the right thing. We had no reason to pull the trigger. I completely get it. But to hear that he got traded for, Drew Holiday and Grayson Allen, that to me is just insane, because you could have done that with the Raptors and you could have still kept your depth a little bit. And you had still a chance to bring a little bit more depth. Like, you could have done that. And this is so funny, because I saw this the other day. Today actually. I forget who said this, so forgive me again. Like, I wish I was able to remember @ and accounts at this time of the day. But it was pretty much someone coming out and saying that, like, it's through, league insiders saying that Masai is looked around the league as somebody who doesn't want to just get the deal done. He wants to fleece you. He's someone in like your fantasy league who will send you 3 different trade proposals, and then before you can even look at them, he'll cancel them because he just doesn't. And he's like playing with himself, if that makes sense. Like he's playing chess by himself. The other team,
Pause.
okay,
There
don't
you go.
listen, please. That's insane. Stop it. But he's like playing chess by himself, and the other team isn't even at the door. Like they're not even seated. So it's almost just like he's so, his expectation for himself after what happened with Kawhi might have put him in a position now where he thinks that he can make such a good deal where they've completely won and the other team has completely lost. But they just don't happen all the time. Like, and again, like I feel like me saying this is just obvious. Like someone like Masai knows this. It's pretty apparent to them. And again, like we still don't really know what goes on behind the scenes, what was done with Masai, what was offered, what was the whole scenario. We have no idea. We have no idea how really deep they were serious about Damian Lillard. We still don't know these things. But if the rumors are true that it was OG Anunoby that Masai refused to move, and he has a contract ending soon, I think that is what is a hard pill to swallow, because you want to believe that they have your best interest, but I think this is the part where it's just like, damn, well, we were that close and we didn't pull the trigger for what?
Well, Shams had Toronto drafted in the tweet section already.
It was
right?
drafted.
It was drafted in there. He posted it and deleted it.
But also, I think that also tells you how little everybody knows of what's going on. Like Shams himself, like you've got team beat reporters hopping on podcasts saying, "Oh, I know what's going to happen." Shams had no idea to the last minute because he had different teams drawn up in his drafts. Like no one ever knows what's going on. So to take everything with a grain of salt is the best thing to do. And to not get disappointed after is the best outcome that you can have. But I think in this scenario, it was way too close to home and it was way too close to pull the trigger. And if the rumors are true, then I don't know. You could have had Damian Lillard for OG Anunoby, and that kind of hurts. It's just saying that out loud. It just kind of hurts.
I just saw the most funniest tweet right now regarding OG
Mine?
Anunoby from our. No, actually, it wasn't yours. It's from our friend Jelani Goodrich Reed. He said, "Why do we act like OG's a second coming of Michael Jordan?" A serious question. I'm on that same wavelength because OG Anunoby is not as good as Drew Holiday for sure. Drew Holiday's a champion. He actually made an All-Star team. He's made an All-Defensive team. He's much better than OG Anunoby. But the fact that Masai continuously will not include Scotty Barnes and OG Anunoby in trades is dumbfounding to me. He's always talked about winning. I want to win in Toronto. Win in Toronto. Well, you won in Toronto when OG Anunoby didn't even play on the playoffs that year, right? So please excuse me for wondering
you weren't going
why
to
you hold on to
anyway. It was just going to make you competitive, and that's the part where it's just like, and
well,
again, like it's just like, did they think? No, they're nowhere near competitive. You're better off watching, I don't know, volleyball that night. Maybe just don't choose the Raptors. But I think like that's, yeah. I just need a second.
You sound defeated. You sound defeated right now.
I just need a second because I think I had convinced myself that this was going to happen, even though I was telling you, I was like, I know this team, I know how this goes, I know exactly every single time there's a superstar, disgruntled guy, he wants to go somewhere else besides like, it's my time to shine. But is it really? It never is. Either media's lying, Masai's lying, someone's lying, it never turns out. This time, I don't know what it was. I always get roped right into it, and I'm like, oh my God. But like when you just imagine something and you're like, wow, that would be good though. So I was thinking like, damn, what if we were competitive? I'm already picturing like Dame time happening at Scotiabank Arena. I'm picturing how I'm going to be cheering, what I'm going to be looking like when I'm cheering. And then, friggin' just ruins my parade.
I wonder this though, like, did the Blazers be like, okay, look, Dame, like Miami's not offering anything good. This is the table. This is the trade we have on the table right now with Milwaukee and Phoenix. Would you be okay going there? I wonder if that was the case.
I think that is something I saw as well, and I wonder if they had, they gave him an option to be like, you could do this in Milwaukee or do this in Toronto. Which one? And he probably chose Giannis.
He made the right decision. Right. That's something only time will tell. Yeah, that's something only time will tell. Again, Toronto Raptors miss out on another star for a lack of a trade from Masai Ujiri. Dame will be in Toronto, I think November, late October, early November is when the Bucks come to town
Man,
with
I want to
Giannis.
see him.
Oh, I'm going to try to buy a ticket right after we're done recording right now. I think I might buy
Yeah,
a
of course.
Dame Bucks jersey, maybe. I think, or maybe I'll buy a
Yeah,
Giannis
get ready to
jersey
be
now.
tomatoed. Tomato, tomato,
I don't.
tomato.
You know me. I don't care about anything like that. I think that's all we got. That's it. Unless you have any
I don't
more
know, guys.
tears you want to shed.
Anybody have any coping mechanisms? Let us know. What are you doing to help yourself watch the team this season? Is it medical? Is it food? Is it
Medical.
not watching at all? Like what is it? How are you going about this? Because I'm gonna need every kind of I don't know, I'm not saying medication, but every kind of protocol I could use this upcoming NBA season with the Raptors, because it's going to be tough. And the only thing though is like, I hope they can secure the vibes somehow. Just fix the vibes, because if they were to figure out just like what the problem in the locker room was, I think they can still put together a fun team. Obviously they're not going to win as much as they would have won with Damian Lillard on the team, but like it still would be fun. But I just also at the same time, if you have guys constantly being brought in trade talks, I'm sure it does not create for a nice amicable environment. So I just want good vibes. That's all I'm asking for, please, everybody.
So you went
together.
from being competitive to Dame time. So we might actually win some games. I just hope the
Can you
vibes.
tell I'm a Gemini? I'm just freaking up and down. That's all I
But
ever
you do know
am.
the vibes will always be good here on Hoop Talks on this emergency. I guess we can call this an emergency episode of Hoop Talks
Yes.
because Damian
My
Lillard is
pajamas,
now.
literally.
Yeah, I know I'm wearing sweats too right now. I have so we're always prepared. But Damian Lillard is in the Eastern Conference. Dame time comes to Milwaukee, joining the Greek Freak in a massive 3-team trade. This has been Hoop Talks for Noor, Zainab. I've been Justin Pooni. Make sure to keep it locked to us because things are going to get even spicier as the NBA season is right around the corner.